Yeah, everyone, this is Thermite, and this is the weekly update. As always, very first link below is Weekly Shonen Jump. Please check it out. This was a really fun one this week. The only complaint I have is a personal recording problem, which is just that my inhales are definitely being caught more by my current OBS settings. I'll fiddle with them a bit more, but I don't want to overcorrect and start cutting out actual things I am saying, because that is so much worse auditorily. Like right now, I'm doing okay. It's mostly a thing that bothers me during during editing, but I'm pretty sure it's more or less fine for watching. Like if it's really annoying, do let me know and I will work a little harder to try and stop it, or at the very least move away from the mic in order to breathe. But it's so hard. I'm so spoiled by my recording setup at home. Anyways, in actual manga news, this week was so good. Neru and Red Hood are really vying for, not the top just yet, but they both feel like series that are still going to be around, after a couple of years. I've been talking a lot about how, Jump as of late has been very transitory. It has been in this perpetual, a bunch of really old long-running series ended, and then a bunch of other series have, just been filtered out over time. Really good series have either been canceled or they've just left, and now there's not a whole lot in Jump that is very long-running. You have your One Piece and your Hunter x Hunter, and then there's a giant gap, and then, the newest thing after that is, what is it even right now? Is it My Hero? Is it Black Clover? It's relatively recent stuff, and that feels so weird. But I could see Hunter's Guild Red Hood and Neru both being big long mainstays, core Jump series. And it's not a year ago I would have said that for Chainsaw Man and for Undead Unluck. But Undead Unluck I feel like is not going to be around forever, in the sense that it is good enough for it to be around forever, but it gives me this feeling of having a level of completeness to it. I don't think that Undead Unluck could just keep on adding new factions and new levels of power. We have a high ceiling, a ceiling that I don't fully understand how, we'll ever get to, and, that's very good for a shonen series. But it is something that we are vying for, and it's something where I can kind of see how our main characters can, eventually assault that, and, eventually win, and eventually, have a happy ending. And I could see that all happening within 100 chapters. I don't think Undead Unluck is going to exist forever. Chainsaw Man ended part 1, part 2 is still not started, and when part 2 starts, that might also be 80 chapters or so. I really hope that more series have the ability to, come on and come off. Just do a run or an arc or a thing. I think that's just more ethical. As much as I do really enjoy the feeling of being able to read manga, consistently, the same story week after week after week forever. That's not something that is really great for creators. And I would much rather have creators who are happy and, putting out stuff the way they want to. And I mean, that still opens up the possibility for people who are big workaholics who do want to go week after week after week, as long as, they're not being exploited. As long as they're not being, forced to do that long after they want to stop in order to, prop up this bigger machine. Anyways, I brought that up because, in the rankings this week, it's very obvious that I love My Hero, love Dr. Stone, love Undead Unluck. Of those two, My Hero is already in the final arc. Dr. Stone is also in sort of a final arc, but I could see that going on for a long time. I can genuinely see Dr. Stone continuously moving forward until it reaches an alternate history. Until it is at everything that we have currently, all the stuff that we scientifically have, while also exploring the one special thing in that series that is a thing that we don't have, and the ramifications of that, going forward into the future. I could see that being a long time, but it's not infinite. Whereas Red Hood feels like the kind of shonen series that could, be infinite. They're also setting up a very clear, this, here are some things we're gonna do. But there's the potential for it to go on for a long time. And Neru, Red Hood and Neru running at the same time is so magical to me. Because so often, when they do a bunch of new series, it's always the well, some of these are okay to middling, and then there's maybe one that really stands out to me. There's one series that makes me go, this might, be a long runner. This might etch its name in Jump history and be looked back on in 10 years. As opposed to a lot of series that, just like run for a year or two and then get canceled or fold under their own weight, or they fold in under 19 chapters. Like, yeah. Red Hood feels like the kind of series that is not yet at legendary status, but could be. Like, it feels like a sort of, like your Naruto. This isn't the greatest thing in the world right off the bat, but there's a lot of potential here, and there's a lot of just, greatness. Whereas Neru feels to me like it has this feeling that I've only gotten from a couple of other series of the moment I start to read it, I think this is going to be a 300, chapter epic. Like, this feels like something that should be running far into the future. It is this, like, I don't know how to put it apart from, like, Red Hood feels like, the creator read a lot of shonen manga and they are doing the hard, like, this is what I think will sell now, and this is very adaptable, and I can do anything I want within this. I can, see what people want and then chase those trends if I need to within this, like, this overall framework of, like, fairy tales. Whereas Neru feels like this magical thing, this thing that happens, like, once every 5 years, once every decade. A mangaka that just sits down and has a classic in mind, and they've got it, they've got this clear idea of, like, this is how I write the classic, the great Japanese novel, and then they just do it. And I'm just really happy to be chasing both of those. And if neither of them manage to make it that far, that's fine. It's whatever. It's just, I'm really happy that there are two series that I can believe this wholeheartedly in. Also, Shokugeki no Sanji, on a completely different note, pretty darn good. Still a little iffy, but I thought it could have been a lot worse. It could have been a lot more upsetting. And where it landed was, it was pretty darn good given, what it was working off of. Based on, like the fact that, I don't want to like dance around stuff. It is very Newcomer focused, and it did it in a way that I thought was, pretty well done, all things considered. I'm not trans, I'm not in that community specifically, so I don't want to like, say anything like big or sweepy or anything, but I liked it more than I thought I was gonna like it. And yeah. Anyways, that is just about it. Also, I have changed the Mangaka Musings to Mangaka Comments because Viz did not. Let me check right now, actually. Does Viz have their Mangaka Musings up yet? Because when I recorded this, which was on a Tuesday, they sure did not. Okay, now it is up. But I mean, that was like a day or two after the point where, it should have been up. Was this up on September 1st? This seems like a lie. Did they really have the September 5th Mangaka Musings up on September 1st? Let me just check the post date for, the previous one. Real quick. Did they fudge this? Now, you see, this one is August 29th, posted on August, or, it's August 29th. It was posted on August 29th. Let's check one more. I feel like they did a big donk up and then they post dated this one, or like predated it, in order to give the illusion that they didn't in fact donk up. Yeah, 822, 822. I mean, maybe it's possible they can put these, they can print these out in advance, but even then, that's so far in advance. And I do know for a fact from like other like, not documentary stuff, but like mangaka in Jump talking about doing comments in Jump, like they do their comments, like somewhere near the end of the manga process. It is a real like, just off the cuff. This is what I'm thinking. Most of them don't really give a crap about it. There is no way that they all had their musings planned 4 days before this. Like, I mean, to be fair, the issues do go out earlier. Like, yeah, I keep on forgetting that the issue, like, the physical, like, volume exists way before we get it, like, on this date. Like, it has to be physically printed beforehand. So, I guess they could have existed before then. I just don't buy it. Especially with the, like, misspelling mangaka musings as manga musings. Nah, I am protesting. I am protesting by instead labeling the mangaka musings the mangaka comments, as labeled by the infographic I had to use on Twitter when I went to viz.com/shonenjump, and I found that in fact the mangaka musings were nowhere to be seen. Well, I think that's enough intrigue and suspicion for one night. Thank you all so much for watching whatever this is. If you've gotten to the end of this, this is 10 minutes long. Oh my god, why did I do this? Why did I go? What was I talking about for 10 minutes? Oh boy. Well, I apologize if you were listening to this because you thought that, like, something had happened to me or there were, like, big personal things in my life. No, none of that. Everything's about the same as it was last week. Things aren't going to change much next week either. Like, right now it's pretty stable. I'll be going back home somewhere near the end of this month. Anyways, thank you. Thank you for dealing with this. It's kind of cool. Also, by the way, one last thing, actually. I see that my channel is getting pretty close to, like, 700 subs. I am not going to, like, do anything for that because I don't want to jinx it, but that's pretty cool. Like, I haven't checked my sub count in a long time, and I'm really, really happy that it is growing. Yeah, like, especially since my, like, the view counts on each individual weekly show and jump have gone down. Like, I thought my channel was, like, losing subs, so this is actually a little surprising. So if you're a new sub, thank you very much for finding the channel and checking it out. And if you're an old sub, thank you, thank you, thank you, because you are the old blood, the foundation for which I continuously pump these out. Thank you one and all. Bye for now. Nya nya.